Hi, everyone, and welcome back to More Than a Store, the podcast that dives deep into the people, stories, and mission of Goodwill San Antonio. I'm your host, Libby, and today's episode is a special one. We're celebrating a major milestone, 80 years of Goodwill San Antonio. 8 decades of changing lives through the power of work. That's no small feat. And to reflect on this momentous occasion, I'm joined by a very special guest, our Vice President of Marketing and Communications, Jerry Arellano.
Hey, Libby. Thank you for having me.
So, Jerry, 80 years is a pretty incredible milestone. Could you take us to 1945 when San Antonio was first established?
Yeah, so Goodwill was founded in Boston in the early 1900s, and Goodwill Industries came to San Antonio in 1945 when a group of civic and business leaders headed by clothing manufacturer Bill Sinkin, who's a notable name and figure in this town, as you may know, to form a local unit, a Goodwill San Antonio in particular, to assist physically handicapped people in San Antonio. So the first location actually was purchased through the help of the community. They did a fundraising campaign for $25,000 that was actually matched by Goodwill Industries International, or at least contributed another $7,000 to it. And they purchased a building at, for those of you who've been here in San Antonio for a minute, 3500 Pleasanton Road. So we started on the south side.
Wow.
And we're helping people with disabilities who learn to repair donated clothing and household items for a good wage. And really that kind of speaks to the philosophy and the model of Goodwill, which is, giving people a chance to be employed as opposed to providing charity. That's kind of the philosophy. A hand up versus a handout. So that's kind of the origins of Goodwill San Antonio. Not kind of, it is the origins of Goodwill San Antonio. And it's how it was established in 1945.
Yeah, and it started off with 24 employees, and I believe 18 of those were Purple Heart veterans. Isn't that correct?
That's right. Opened our first store, 22 employees, 18 of which earned our Purple Heart, and so we've been connected to the military ever since. So we talk about San Antonio being a military city, USA. We've been connected since for 80 years.
Yeah, it's very fitting that we did that kind of work. What do you think has contributed to the longevity of Goodwill San Antonio here in our community?
Well, I think it started with mission first. It's a mission-driven organization. A lot of people ask if Goodwills are for-profits, and they're not. Goodwills are what we call social enterprises. They're nonprofits using business principles to do social good. And our social good is helping people who are unemployed or face barriers to employment to get a job. And that's been our mission since the beginning. And frankly, that's still our mission today. So I think everything ties back to the mission. So I think that's why we've been successful all these years. I think the other thing that makes us successful is we're fortunate enough to have good community partners. Here, not only locally, but in our surrounding area where we have stores and operations. Through that work, we're able to then not only have a stronger reach of access, because I think it's really about access to not only jobs, but access to training, because we are a workforce development provider, as well as a workforce development trainer. And I think the other part is the dedication of our team members. We're fortunate, like I said earlier, we have 1,800 team members. But, later in May, we do something annually where we celebrate team members who've been with us 20 plus years. And this year, we're going to be honoring and celebrating over 85 people who have been with Goodwill San Antonio for 20 plus years. And I'm not just saying they just made the 20. We have folks who've hit the 25 mark,
Wow.
30-year mark. And in fact, we were able to visit with one of our employees, Diana Trevino, and she's been with Goodwill for 35 years.
Wow.
So, yeah. So out of the 35 years of mission-driven team member success.
It's more than a quarter of our lifetime here at Goodwill San Antonio. And that's a good segue, Jerry, because Yvonne Bird, our multimedia designer here at Goodwill, actually went with us on a couple of trips. We went to City Council here in San Antonio and to the state capitol to commemorate our 80-year anniversary. And so we're going to take it to the streets and some field reporting there for us. So take it away, Yvonne.
It's a Tuesday morning in April, and San Antonio City Hall is buzzing with activity. In the audience, a group of Goodwill San Antonio team members are present for a special announcement.
Now, therefore, I, Ron Nirenberg, Mayor of the City of San Antonio, in recognition thereof, do hereby proclaim April 25th, 2025 to be Goodwill San Antonio's 80th anniversary day in San Antonio, Texas, and encourage all residents to join in celebrating and supporting the invaluable contributions of Goodwill as it continues to build a stronger, more inclusive community for
On
all.
April 25th, 2025, the City of San Antonio officially proclaimed the day as Goodwill San Antonio's 80th anniversary day. And it didn't end there. Not long after, recognition came from Austin as well.
Senate Resolution 434 by Gutierrez, Menendez, and Zaffirini.
The state of Texas formally passed a resolution honoring April 25th as Goodwill Day across the state, a meaningful acknowledgement to the growing impact of Goodwill's mission, not just in San Antonio, but throughout Texas.
I recognize Senator Gutierrez to close on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. I believe we also have some people up from Goodwill up all over. If I can get you all to stand up. There you are. Please stand up. These are all the volunteers and helpers at Goodwill. I want to thank you and welcome to your state's capital. Thank you for all your good hard work in this community. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. I move adoption.
Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none. The resolution is adopted. Thank you, Senator Gutierrez.
For Goodwill San Antonio, these aren't just ceremonial words. These are a reminder that what we do matters and that the community sees us, appreciates us, and stands with us.
That was wonderful, Yvonne. Thank you so much for your field reporting. You know, Jerry, that proclamation and that resolution was so impactful. That moment was so impactful and so memorable for not only us on the leadership team, but for the team members who were able to join us. I'm curious, can you share any behind-the-scenes insights about the 80th anniversary campaign or any stories that have really stood out to you?
Again, I want to give a shout out to UTSA Research because they've been helping us dig up some old clippings. Mm-hmm. And one of the clippings that I found, I'm going to read a couple of the names of the people that were part of the original members of the board of directors. Names like J.G. Ross, L.F.L. Reeder, the McCreeless brothers. I'm sure you guys have heard of
Yes.
McCreeless Mall. We've also heard of O.P. Schnabel, Maynard Labatt, and some other words. And when you read names like that, it speaks to what those folks thought was needed at the time here in San Antonio and the importance of really trying to, get this movement really of helping folks with disabilities and really helping people skill up. A lot of what happens now, we talk about workforce development as kind of the collective issue of Greater San Antonio and how we're going to move forward. And Goodwill's right there in the front, in the forefront of really just trying to help people obtain a job and get skilled up. We do offer, I might add, skill training in a couple of areas that are related to medical. So medical assistant program. We have a nurse's assistance program. We have a pharmacy tech program. Additionally, we have a CDL program, commercial driver's license for those who, and you're talking about Texas, right? Really a major player in the logistics space and really the transportation space. So anybody who's looking to maybe get a CDL certification. And then we just recently launched, and I'm really proud of that this year, and I got to give a shout out to our workforce development unit, the manufacturing boot camp. We've heard from employers over the years and really last year that we need to meet the demands of the manufacturing sector here in San Antonio.
Right.
And we created a boot camp specifically tailored to get these folks not only trained, but then employed in a high wage, high demand job. So really excited about that work that we're doing. And all the celebrations, actually April 25th is our anniversary date. Yeah. So we're really excited about doing that. We're doing something for our workforce. But we're also going to be hosting a gala. That's actually going to be held at the Toba Center at the end of May. And we're really looking to not only recognize a couple of partners in the region who have been champions of workforce development, but really, help celebrate Goodwill and Goodwill San Antonio and all we've done in the past 80 years. So really looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too. The gala, when we talk about it, it's the first gala I think Goodwill's ever done. And a big part of that is going to be a fashion show, of course. We are very mission driven here at Goodwill. We start mission first, but we do have fashion. So we're really looking forward to that. So if anybody's listening, they want to join us, please do, because it's going to be a lot of fun. We have a fashion show with everything found in Goodwill. And I wanted to remind everybody that even though we are called Goodwill San Antonio, we serve a 24 county territory. And so we've grown quite a bit since 1945, but we're just continuing to expand and grow and expand our reach to support people that need it the most.
Yeah, let me add something to that because, you talked about our expansion. A lot of what we do is, we think about who we're helping, and we're helping folks, underserved communities who are in need of employment. And we're looking to eliminate those barriers to employment. So the reality is that Goodwill's, really all Goodwills, but really Goodwill San Antonio care for people. But what people may forget is we also care for planet. And the sustainability aspect of what we do can't be overlooked. When you're talking about even just the history, the 80-year history, how many pounds of items that we be able to repurpose and recycle back into the environment to help our planet, I think is something to be proud of.
Yes.
And it's part of who we are.
And that is what makes us more than a store. Thank you so much, Jerry, for joining us today and for everything that you've shared.
Thank you, Libby, for having me.
Yeah, we look forward to spending the next 80 years here at Goodwill.
That's right.
So it's clear that Goodwill San Antonio's story is one of resilience, innovation, and deep commitment to the community. And now before we close out, I want to introduce something new that we're trying this season, a little segment we're calling Libby's Final Thoughts. At the end of every episode, I'm taking a moment to reflect on what we've talked about and what it means, not just for us as an organization, but for all of us as individuals working to create a more hopeful future. So here we go. As the Director of Communications here at Goodwill, I've had the privilege to meet many of our team members, our program participants, and of course work with leadership. What sticks out to me the most is the passion that each individual has about Goodwill and what it does for either them or their families or the community. I've been in the nonprofit field for more than 15 years now, and what I love the most about working for nonprofits is that it's more than a job. It's a movement, and it brings with it a passion for purpose, which I know that I have and which many of our team members have, and what they give back to the community. I'm so proud and honored to work for an organization that has served the community that I live in and I love for 80 years. And now I'm able to be a part of reimagining and imagining its future. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next, and I hope you, our listeners and our supporters, will continue to join us for this journey. Thanks again, Jerry, for joining us, and thank you for our listeners for tuning into our podcast. Join us next time as we continue our journey of taking you behind the scenes at Goodwill and sharing with you just how we truly are more than a store. This podcast is produced by our multimedia design manager, Yvonne, and we want to thank everybody on the entire marketing and communications team here at Goodwill San Antonio for all the hard work they put into making this episode. And a big shout out to Texas Public Radio for allowing us to record this episode right here in their studio. From one nonprofit to another, thank you so much. We're truly grateful for your support. For more information about this episode, check out our show notes on the More Than a Store website at goodwillsa.org. And don't forget to follow us on Goodwill SA on all social media channels. You'll learn more about our history and all the great things that we continue to do in the community. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.